The advice that I would give to parents about their kids using the internet is to realize that you won't be able to supervise your kids' internet use from nose to tail, that your kids will have lots of unsupervised internet use, and the only thing you can do to keep them safe in their use of the internet is to instill in them good values and good sense. And the way that you do that is by teaching them that things like their privacy is quite important and valuable. And the way that you do that is not by spying on them, which is what we do now. We say, oh, well, we'll just monitor everything you do on the internet as a means of ensuring you don't do the wrong thing. The way that you do it is by teaching them not to be spied on. And that will ripple down. And so years before they get to Facebook, if we start teaching them that they hemorrhage personal information when they use networks, when they use mobile phones and so on, and how to take steps to staunch that, then maybe by the time they get to Facebook, by the time they are enmeshed in Google's data harvesting mechanisms and so on, they will actually have some sense of why they should take some countermeasures.
And talking sort of specifically about Facebook, what is it about that software and that particular site that worries you so much?
Well, I think that since the earliest social networks, the Friendsters and so on, hit on a strategy, really without meaning to, of using negative reinforcement, Skinnerian reinforcement, to get people to disclose more information about their lives. And that each subsequent generation of social networking technologies, right up to Facebook, has refined that. And so what happens is, the way that they work is that the more you disclose about your personal life, the more the people who matter to you reward you with attention. And that's a really powerful force for encouraging you to go on disclosing information. And I don't think that anyone sat down and said, that Skinner was onto something. I bet you we could create this privacy apocalypse in 15 years if we started building social networks that way. I just think that someone hit on a winning strategy, and all of their competitors since have refined it. The EU, on the one hand, is passing data retention regulations, is increasing the power of the state to wiretap citizens without particularized suspicion, and basically saying that the good and proper way for the internet to be run is for telecoms giants and governments to collaborate on hoovering in as much information they can about the daily lives of individuals who've done nothing wrong and are suspected of nothing. And at the same time, they're saying, but we expect the private sector to have some privacy policies that have teeth and are meaningful. And I think that the most powerful mechanism we have for securing the privacy of individuals is for individuals to care about their privacy and to think that it's not a lost cause to do something about their privacy. And in order for that to happen, I think states have to stop acting like the internet is just a playground for sort of extracting data willy-nilly with and building dossiers that put the Stasi to shame, and start acting like gathering information on the internet is something that should only happen in the most narrow and closely judicially supervised circumstances that we know about. Instead of ISPs being required by law to log everything we do and keep those logs forever, we should make ISPs liable if they lose logs and create financial incentives for ISPs to log as little as possible. The way that I look at Facebook's positive uses, like the way it's been useful in organizing activist causes in the Middle East and so on, is that we should treat the fact that Facebook being used as was used as the primary tool for that as a bug that we need to fix over time, because of course Facebook isn't suited to that kind of use, not least because the company actually doesn't really care beyond the negative publicity value whether or not it keeps the people who organize activist causes on it safe, right? If the secret police want to data mine Facebook, as they've done in previous uprisings and activist circumstances in autocratic regimes, Facebook only really cares when that has some impact on their bottom line. It's not like they have a kind of fundamental commitment to keeping their users safe, and it's not going to be a design consideration, I think, going forward with Facebook's technology. So I think that what we need to do is start acknowledging as privacy activists that Facebook has merits for organizing causes in terms of its ease of use, and it has demerits in terms of the consequences of it being mined by the authorities, and that we can solve the merit and demerit problem by doing two things. First, by educating activists about the demerits. People who don't care about technology and just want to overthrow the king, we need to teach them that Facebook, as convenient as it is a bit of a honeypot, and that once you're stuck in it, there's going to be negative consequences. And then the other thing we need to do is build the tools that will take over from Facebook, to make those privacy-oriented tools better. And both of those things are happening. They've been happening for quite some time. They got a real goose during the Iranian elections. They've had subsequent accelerations brought on by the recent events in the Middle East, and I think they'll go on doing it. And I'm not sanguine at all that activists are using Facebook in the Middle East and possibly exposing themselves and their networks to risk. But I think that the way that we solve this is by saying networking technologies are useful to revolutionaries. Let's build some that are fit for purpose.